So on my channel, my 3 most popular videos all have some link to Cambridge Uni and my whole application to that. I'm not just making this video because of the views, but genuinely though, today's video I'll be talking about why I was rejected by Cambridge. They have sent me a whole feedback letter, it's 2 pages long, they're really rubbing salt in the wound. But I do think this would genuinely be useful if anyone watching this wants to apply to Cambridge or maybe wants to apply to medicine. This is going to have all the mistakes that I made according to Cambridge and what I think as well. And so that hopefully if you're applying and you want to go there, you don't make the same mistakes that I made and you'll hopefully get in. So before I start, if you're new to my channel, you might want to know a bit of context about me. I applied to Cambridge to study medicine, and I applied to Clare College because at Cambridge you have to apply to a specific college, and so I ended up choosing Clare. I got an interview in December, and then in January I was rejected. I posted both my interview experience and then my rejection on my YouTube channel and on TikTok, and they did get quite a few views, so I thought it only seemed right to share the final stage of this whole chapter. And that is the reasons why I was rejected. So at Cambridge, I think if you get an interview and you're unsuccessful, they do send you feedback, and I think that's really good because if people are planning to reapply, then it's sometimes really good to know exactly where you went wrong. And they send it really detailed, like a lot of this is generic, but there's still quite a lot, which I think is really nice. So in this video, I will just be unpacking exactly what they said, some of my thoughts about why I think I was rejected, things I would do differently, and discussing if I'm gonna even reapply next year. So starting off with the letter, so they actually emailed this to me, but I printed it out just to be like dramatic and for like a thumbnail. It's got the Clare College logo, it's all official. I will be skipping over some of like the generic parts, but I'll show you some of the highlights. So to start off with, it says that Clare College received 946 valid applications across all subjects this year. Of these, 369 were invited for interviews, so about 2/3, and 147 received an offer. So Clare College, obviously, like any other college in Cambridge, is very competitive. It seems about roughly like 1 in 9, I don't know, I can't really do maths. But it seems very competitive. This is what you expect when you go to Cambridge anyway. This next part might be of interest to you. So they said that applicants from maintained schools accounted for 68.5% of their home offers, with 26.5% of their offers made to applicants flagged for indices of multiple deprivation. Don't really know what that means. 13.3% flagged for low participation areas, 9% in recipient of free school meals, and 18% to overseas applicants. So for me, I was a home applicant. I go to a grammar school, which is like a state school, but you need certain GCSE grades to go there. At my school you need 5.7s to go there, so it's not considered a maintained school, and my postcode wasn't contextual. But obviously I think Cambridge gets a lot of criticism because of how many private school people they admit. I think they're just trying to show that they are like doing a bit, like obviously you probably need to do a bit more if only like 69% are from maintained schools. But if you are from like a state school, then hopefully that gives you a bit of motivation that they do give like a large amount of their offers to people from those backgrounds. So I think they are putting more of that into their application process, which is a really good thing in my opinion. It says the 2020 to 21 competition for undergraduate places was among the stiffest in recent years. For every successful applicant to the college, at least 5 were unsuccessful, so about 1 in 6 success rate, which I guess is a bit reassuring. I think because grades were a bit inflated last year, that might account for it. You can't really know the reason, and I guess it is a bit unfortunate that I had to apply in one of the more competitive years, but that is what it is. Then it goes to say that it's very competitive, just some like generic stuff. Now the interesting bit, so Sean, me, was one of 90 candidates applying for medicine this year at Clare College. Of these, 42 were interviewed. When I saw that, I was quite surprised because Cambridge is known for giving a lot of interviews, especially in medicine. I think I googled it and it said like around 80% get interviews, but I guess they did less this year. Even in the college, around 2/3 got interviews, so I guess they were interviewing a lot less for medicine. I don't really know why, but it's less than half the people who applied got interviews, which I guess is some comfort in knowing that I at least got to the interview stage, which I guess is a good thing. And then 11 received an offer, so out of 90 they reduced that to 11. So very competitive. It seems a bit more competitive to some of the other courses because it's a 1 in 6, but that's about 1 in 9. I think medicine's a bit more competitive. Again, then goes on to say that I submitted a good paper application and we were glad to invite him to interview. I was very glad to attend the interview, I must say. This is interesting. Now, the interviewer scored my interview performance an average of 7.1 out of 10, which put me in the 2nd decile. And you know what, I'll take that quite happily. I would think 7.1 out of 10 is pretty good, but obviously it is Cambridge, so like, that is 2nd quintile, which means top 40%, so between the top 40 and the top 20, in between there. Which, you know, if I like found that out. I would be like kind of happy with that. Like, Cambridge is very competitive, everyone who applies is obviously very clever, so scoring above average, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. It then says for the written assessment, Sean was awarded a mark that fell in the first quintile, so top 20%. I don't really know what written assessment includes, but I'm guessing that includes the entrance exam I had to sit, the BMAT, and maybe like predicted grades, personal statement. I don't really know what written assessment like includes, but probably just like what your application looks like on paper. So very happy that I got in the first quintile. I was very pleased with the score that I got in the exam, so I'm happy that I was in the first quintile. So that does put a smile on my face to know that I was in the top 20% for that college, for the written part. It then says, reviewing these scores alongside the paper application, the contextual data, we thought that Sean's overall performance was strong, but still fell short of the standard achieved by the very best. And on that basis, Clare College put his application in the winter pool, but regrettably no other colleges were able to make him an offer. So if you don't know, the winter pool is a collection of applications that are good, but not quite good enough to be accepted at the first choice college, but other colleges that have some free space might wish to take applicants from there. So obviously I'm really happy that I got put in the winter pool, because I guess that means that they must have seen some strength in my application. It's not a complete rejection, you know. But you know what, obviously it was very competitive. Medicine is a competitive course anywhere, let alone Cambridge. It's just like very difficult to get a place. I'm quite happy to know that I ranked like somewhat good among the applicants, but I think obviously they have limited spaces, and I'm sure people who deserved it just as well got offers, so I'm not bitter about it. A bit bitter, but not that bitter. And then the final point is kind of sweet. They say that this is just one judgment made at one moment, and a lot of the time people who are unsuccessful in applying reapply and get in or come back as postgraduates, and they said they wish me every success in the future. But overall, I'm very happy with the fact that I was second quintile for the interview and first quintile for the written assessment, so I am happy with that. I think that perhaps you just need to be the best of the best. So maybe if I got first quintile in the interview, then I probably might have gotten a place. But that being said, I've got offers from other unis that I'm very happy to go to. So looking in hindsight, things did work out in the end. What I might have done differently if I was applying would probably done more like interview prep that's specific to Cambridge. What I think would have helped was probably maybe have a mock interview with someone online and paid like, maybe, I don't know how much they cost, but I think it probably would have been worth paying a bit to just have some practice of the mock interview, because to be honest, when I went into the Cambridge interview, I didn't really know what to expect, and the actual things they asked me in the interview were very different to what I'd been preparing. What I found that the questions were more like about scientific methods and how to carry out different research, rather than testing me on like my A-level stuff or like medicine as a subject, as a science. I think that was just the way that Clare College did it. Maybe if I had paid for a bit of prep before, that might have paid off, but obviously I would never know. It could have been just money down the drain. And I think the way that it's worked out has actually been very good as well, because I've got an offer to do medicine at King's College London, and in many ways that has different opportunities and I'll meet different people. I think it all works out for a reason. And am I going to reapply? You probably guessed it, but no. Medicine is a very, very competitive course. I've learned through applying. It's so hard to get an offer, get an interview. You have to interview at every single uni. You have your exam, you have to sit. It's so stressful, and having an offer at an amazing uni like King's College London is enough for me. I'm gonna take that while I've got that opportunity. I'm not gonna risk losing that offer to reapply at Cambridge when that might not even happen. And I do think that the application that I put in, my BMAT score, everything, my personal statement, I think I did put the most effort I could have at every stage. I don't really know if there's a lot that I could do differently, so I don't think that it would make sense to reapply. But I know, like, perhaps for other courses and for different people, different circumstances, reapplying does make sense, but it was never been my like lifelong ambition to go to Cambridge. It was just something I've been looking at in year 12, and when I got my predicted grades and my UCAT score, I thought maybe I could at least try, and if I don't get in, that's fine. If I do get in, that's good too. It's not been like ever since I was 4, I've always wanted to go there. So that about ends this chapter of the whole Cambridge thing. I know a lot of people have found this channel from those Cambridge videos, so hopefully this is a satisfying ending if that's what you were here for. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post all sorts of different content that I'm sure you'll love. Comment what your thoughts are. Did you apply to Cambridge? Are you planning on applying to Cambridge? Hopefully, if you are planning on applying, you can learn a bit, try and not make the same mistakes that I did. And if you haven't watched my other video, I would definitely recommend checking them out, because I go into a lot more depth about my thoughts about the interview, how I felt after my rejection. So if it is something that you're interested in, I definitely recommend checking that out. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!